if you put a seed in the ground on Monday, you don't run out Tuesday and go, where's my fruit? That it takes a minute. And every farmer understands that healthy things need time to grow. You can't skip that process. So there's a process. First comes the planting of the seed. Then we have to bring water, right? Then there's the watering. Then here's all our favorite part. After the planting, after the watering, then comes the waiting. Is it growing yet? Is it growing yet? Is it growing yet? And the waiting turns into God's perfect timing, and all of a sudden the harvest comes forth. Yet when it comes to our spiritual life, if we look at this parable and understand it, we often expect God to work differently than the parable he's teaching us. See, we pray a few times and then we expect an immediate answer. We face a difficult season and wonder why God hasn't changed everything yet. We start to compare our journey to someone else's, and we begin to think we're falling short or behind because what God's doing in other people's lives. But God's kingdom doesn't operate in the timeline of our culture. It doesn't operate in that timeline. The kingdom grows people before it gathers a harvest. And that's what this is about today. The kingdom grows us before the harvest comes forth. And maybe we feel like we're in that season of waiting. Maybe we feel like we're in that season and we're just being stretched. Or maybe we're in a season where we're starting to grow. Don't assume God has forgotten you. The truth is, the Lord is often doing his greatest work beneath the surface. God always forms his character in us before he brings a harvest through us. And Jesus tells us that the kingdom, it's not built by shortcuts. It grows through a steady work of God. And in Matthew 13, Jesus explains the parable of the wheat and the weeds to his disciples. The crowds, they heard the story, but his followers, his disciples, they were invited to understand its meaning. Please, Jesus, explain to us what this means that we can apply this to our life. So in Matthew 13, 37 through 38, he answered, said to them, he who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seeds are the sons of the kingdom, but the tares are the sons of the wicked one. The servants ask a question that makes absolute sense. Jesus, do you want to just pull out the weeds? Should we pull out everything that's not of you and here? And it seems logical to do so. If something doesn't belong, we should just remove it. It's kind of like the church. We think everyone comes, they're already saved and healed. No. We come in broken, distant from God, hurting. And then there's a process that begins to take place as the seed gets planted. Jesus answers, he says, no, because while you're pulling the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And the weed Jesus describes was most likely this plant. It was called a darnel. And it looks identical to wheat during its early stages. I mean, it looks exactly like it. So before the grain matured, even the most experienced farmers could not tell them apart. Pulling the weeds too soon often meant destroying the wheat as well. And Jesus is revealing something profound about his kingdom. God is never in a hurry because he always sees what we cannot. I'm always praying, God, would you hurry it up? I'm fruit of the Spirit, patience, pray for me. I want to go, but there's something in this process. He's not in a hurry. God's timing is perfect. And his timing is perfect because what we're in right now, he sees where we're going. We just can't see that yet. See, he knows we belong to him. And what he's growing in us and when the harvest will be ready. We often want God to remove every difficult trial, circumstance we face, and we want him to remove it immediately. And I am all for that. I'm like instantly, like God, go. Is it away? Why do some people get healed and some people, it takes time to get healed? Why do some people seem to have a favor and then I'm waiting on the favor of the Lord? Why? Well, remember, we're back to that comparison again. But we often want God to just remove every difficult thing immediately. But sometimes that very process we're trying to escape is the very process God is using to mature us.